Hi there, welcome to another video. I was just going through doing a couple of sugar washes and I had a stall, and it suddenly occurred to me I haven't actually made a video specifically on how to recover from a stalled wash. So I thought I'd do that for you. A bit of background history. I was doing, as I said, a couple of sugar washes because my wife likes her vodka and I like to get some straight spirits for mixing purposes and what have you. And I had a very aggressive problem, is my way of putting it, which developed from my washers. Now, obviously, I was into a little bit of product testing beforehand, and I ended up putting a little bit too much diammonium phosphate, or DAP, into the wash. Normally, with a baker's yeast wash, I'll put in diammonium phosphate, which is a yeast nutrient, and I usually put in around about a flat teaspoon. Well, this time I put in a heaped tablespoon. So I've got a half a cup of baker's yeast and a heaped tablespoonful of diammonium phosphate, and I put a little bit of citric acid in as well. But anyway, it took off like a freight train. It was going like, brewing was going out of fashion. It was simply going so fast. It got to the stage where it was like Mount Vesuvius. There was a foam erupting out of the bubbler at the top, and it was making a terrible mess. Oh, I felt like such a dork actually making this happen. But it actually led me to a point. I haven't really done a video on how to address a stalled wash. I had two stalled washes. They stalled down to an occasional bubble out of the bubble lock. Occasional bubble. This is probably around about 5 or 6 seconds apart, which is not much. It was going bad. So anyway, I thought I'd address that particular issue now. Now, as I said, there's two types of stalled washes. One, completely stalled, and two, very slow bubbling, where you know something's gone wrong. If you've got a completely stalled wash, there's a few things to look out for. The obvious things is one, temperature. If the temperature is incorrect, if it's dropped down too much, it could stall. If that's the case, adjust your temperature, put a heating strip on it, bring it up to operating temperature and see if that fixes the problem. If that completely stalled wash has the temperature is fine, it may be the pH level. Now, this happens mainly with sugar washes. You get a stall with an increase in a decrease in pH. So, if you have check your pH level. If it's lower than 5.5, you need to increase the pH level up to about 5.5 to help recover the wash. Now, you do that if you want to increase the pH level. You use sodium bicarbonate or bicarb soda or baking soda, and that will increase the pH level. Now, the simplest way to do it without the proper measuring equipment is put in a half a teaspoon, stir it, test it. Put in a half a teaspoon, stir it, and test it. And the best way to test it is using some of the litmus paper. Very cheap. You pick it up on the internet. So once you've got the pH level up to 5.5 and the temperature is right on a completely stalled wash, wait a bit of time, see if it recovers. If it doesn't recover, put in a quarter of a cup, or put in a small amount of yeast and let it start, because if you set the parameters for it, the yeast will start growing and build up a colony. It might take a little bit longer, but it will build up a colony and you will recover. Now, on the other side of the coin, if you've got a stalled wash and it is bubbling extremely slowly, the first obvious things it says to me is you still have active yeast inside that wash. So now we're just going to recover the active yeast. Same procedure, check for water temperature. If that's fine, great. Check your pH. It's more than likely the pH level, again, is dropping. Now you need to increase your pH level up to 5.5. It's the same procedure, bicarbonated soda to actually increase it. Small bit at a time, stir, test, bit at a time, stir, test. Get it up to 5.5. Then sit back and wait to see if it recovers. Now, if it's bubbling, it will recover because there is still active yeast. So I did have that problem. Both of my my distillery tubes are basically dropping down to very slow bubbling. So what I ended up doing is recovering them both. And they both recovered extremely well, and they're now going through the stage of settling down so I can actually distill later on. So I thought I'd just sort of touch on those. Those are the most common problems for a wash stalling. When I first started and got my first problems with this, I just basically threw it away and started again. And then I found out how to do it. So if you have had to store washers and you haven't addressed how to actually adjust them, hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Well, thanks for watching. I enjoy what I do. If you enjoyed watching my videos, please like, subscribe and share. Leave a comment if you wish. It'd be great to hear from you. So at the same token, I'm going to sign off for now and quickly put this up into the internet. I've got a couple of great videos coming up shortly, so stay tuned for that. So until then, peace.